I think sometimes as foster carers, we can get so used to things feeling heavy that we actually forget that we are actually allowed to enjoy our lives too. Yes, fostering is a meaningful role. Yes, it can be very challenging at times, but it doesn't mean that every day has to feel hard. We are allowed to laugh, we are allowed to create joy in our homes, and we are allowed to enjoy the life that we are building. So, today we're going to be talking about what that actually looks like to have joy in our lives without guilt and shame. Over the last few episodes, we have gone quite deep. We have talked about staying soft, regulating our emotions, leading peaceful homes, and also protecting our compassion along the way. And all of that matters and it all flows one into the next. But today, I want to just gently shift the tone because somewhere along the way, many foster carers, myself included, started to believe that this life is supposed to just feel heavy all of the time. And I really want to challenge that way of thinking and living because we are supposed to enjoy the life that we are living and that we are creating. So, when everything feels serious around us due to the responsibilities that we carry, we are caring for children who need safety, stability, and support. There's always meetings, there's always paperwork, there's always big emotions, and always a conversation that needs to be had that requires our patience and strength. And over time, that can start to feel really serious. It can lead us to live in a life that feels very structured and focused and heavy. And without realizing it, slowly that joy, it just starts to fade into the background. Not because it's completely gone, but because we haven't prioritized ourselves, our joy, and truly stepping into the life that we want to create for ourselves and bringing everybody along on this journey with us. Joy isn't lost. We just need to remind ourselves that we're allowed to invite that back into our lives. Sometimes we can fall into the belief that if I'm doing something meaningful, then it has to feel hard or it's not worth the time and energy that I'm putting into it. But that's not always true. And for fostering, it does have its hard moments. But your whole life, it doesn't need to feel heavy. And we can introduce laughter into the home, lightness into our days, moments that feel easy and enjoyable. And it's those moments, they don't take away from the importance of what you're doing, they actually support it. And when we can shift into the mindset of creating joy, it's not selfish, but it's actually an essential part to life. It's essential to us, to our mental health and our well being, but also to the children in our care to show them that there's a different way, that they can be joyful regardless of whatever situation that they find themselves in right now. Life's not going to be easy, but when we can find glimpses of hope and joy and happiness along the way, it really allows us to start framing our mindset different. And that goes for the children that come into our homes as well. We're getting to show them that life doesn't have to be hard and punishing, and joy and happiness and hope, it's all there and it's all available to them. I think sometimes as carers, we can quite often feel guilty for enjoying our lives as if these things feel calm, then it must be wrong. If I'm enjoying this, am I actually doing enough? But truly, that joy is not selfish. Joy truly does create connection and safety and warmth. And children don't just need stability, they need to experience life that feels good too. And that starts with you allowing yourself to feel it. When you allow yourself to be the teacher, to be the leader in the home, you're saying to these children, hey, life can be fun again. We don't have to take everything so serious. We're going to mess up along the way. There's going to be hardship, but there's also going to be beautiful, happy moments along the way. And if we all just lived in a state of joy, then that would just be us flatlining through life as well. We have joy so that we can experience lows and we can experience highs. That doesn't take away the power from one to another, but we have to have that duality in life. So when we're saying, look, we can have fun, we can play, we can move, we can laugh, we can enjoy the small moments in life. It doesn't always have to be miserable and boring and suffering. That you're allowed to find these happy moments. It doesn't take away from what you've been through, but it'll help you to get to where you're going on this journey. So we're allowed to create these moments of light within our home. And joy doesn't have to be big or something planned. It can just be found in the small moments of everyday life. Laughing over the dinner, playing music in the kitchen, slowing down your evenings, or just enjoying a quiet moment with a cup of tea. Just allowing laughter to fill these small moments. It actually builds something really powerful. And it creates the atmosphere where life doesn't just feel managed. It feels lived. It feels experienced. It feels loved. And we can have faith and enjoyment at the same time. They can coexist. And for some people, faith feels really serious. But when we actually look at how God calls us to live, there's also peace and rest and enjoyment and gratitude. We can walk closely with God and still enjoy our lives. If anything, He makes it more beautiful. And when we walk with God, our gratitude, it grows that enjoyment. And when we can pause and recognize what we have, we begin to see just how blessed we are. And that gratitude overflows into everything that we do, the conversations that we have, each moment that we have in the homes. They're filled with more love, they're filled with more joy, less tension. When we can trust in God, that joy just overflows into so many different areas than when we're just in a state of anxiety and fear and pressure from the outside influences. God wants us to live joyful, happy lives. He wants us to connect back with Him. So the more we connect with God, the more joy actually overflows into our home, but also into the lives that we are creating for ourselves and for the children that come along with you on that journey. They'll say, oh my gosh, this person can be happy. This person's so full of joy. This person's so kind. That there are people out there who I can look up to, who I can aspire to. We are leading the way. We are showing the alternative way. And that is such a beautiful position to be in. So if you've been in a season where everything has just felt heavy and structured and routine, let this just be your reminder right now that you are allowed to enjoy your life. You are allowed to create that joy in your home. You're allowed to laugh, to rest, to just have moments to just breathe. Fostering is a part of your life. It is not the only thing that your life is allowed to feel. There is so much joy to be had. And you don't need to wait for everything to just be perfect to enjoy your life. You'll miss those moments. You don't need to earn it. You don't need to earn your rest or your joy. You can just simply begin now in small ways, in the everyday moments, just in everyday life. But as you do and you start to go through your day, you'll begin to notice that something shifts within you. And not just within you, but also within the home. So thank you for being a huge part of the Fostering Kingdoms community. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can get notified every week when we drop our new videos. And can you also do me another favour? Share this episode with a fellow foster carer so they too can become a part of the Fostering Kingdoms community so that they can learn and grow in their homes and alongside you as well. The more knowledge that we have as carers, the more that we come together as a community, the more power and impact we have. So let's build on that a little bit more and let's hang out.